Is anyone undateable? This is Reid from readaboutsex.com.
Cathy from the intimacydojo.com.
And BBC did a documentary called The Undatables, people that no one was dating, and the person that wrote in defined them as people that were too old or too ugly for anyone to ever want to date. Mm-hmm. And that bothered me, so we're going to talk about it.
Okay, what was bothering about it to you?
One, I don't like defining anyone that way. Undateable means just like end of story. There's nothing.
I thought you didn't like the BBC.
They have some good stuff.
All right, back on track.
Sorry, Doctor Who scares me. I can't watch it.
It's scary for a lot of reasons, and it is awesome for those of us who like it.
Yes.
Deviants.
So, defining someone as undateable just is like, it's like, this is what you are. This will never change. And I do really believe that people can recover and be amazing no matter where they are. Mm-hmm. I had a good friend who was working with a gentleman who had been burned in a fire. And he's like 80% of his body was badly scarred. And he was in a wheelchair. But he was a very dynamic person. Like he had to get through like all the shame and all the stuff he had. But he had these, what everyone would consider conventionally pretty girlfriends with him. Like every time she met him, he would have a different girlfriend. And she's like, what's going on? He's like, people just seem to like me. Like he'd gotten past his shame and his fears that held him back. Mm-hmm. And he was just an awesome person. And people were like, yes, I want to date you. So I think defining anyone as being too old or too fat or too ugly, which is a very subjective term, and saying they're undateable, it feels very wrong and very bad to me.
And it's kind of a human trait that human beings tend to do that kind of thing, or are raised in cultures where they tend to do that kind of thing. So they pick up those bad habits, and then you kind of groove that thinking over a lifetime and surround yourself with people in other culture that says to this, to that. And it would be hard if you don't geek out and deconstruct some of this. It would be hard for you to notice that culture is having its way with you.
Yeah, one way to look at the culture, I love just doing this. I'll flip on the TV and go to a popular sitcom, and I'll just put it on silent for a few minutes and watch it. And you'll see that anyone who's slender and young is having a good time. Things are generally going, unless they're the kind of fall guy, but they're usually like they're having a good time. Life is going pretty well for them. They're perceived as funny, powerful, whatever. If you have someone who's larger or older, they're almost always, or someone who doesn't look conventionally pretty on the show.
Cranky. They're the cranky person.
They're cranky, or bad things happen, or they portray them badly. And without the sound, you can just see, like, for me, it makes it really stand out, like, how much they stereotype that. But the problem is we're seeing that over and over and over again. It kind of ingrains it. Most ads have this, too. Brene Brown just reported that the average person listens to 3 or 4 years of advertising in their lifetime, which is basically brainwashing. So if we're shown over and over again that someone has to look size 2, blonde hair, blue eyes, certain height, to be dateable, then that's all you're going to look for. And we're kind of pushing I think of it as M&Ms. You have all these colors, but most people are like, reds are to this, browns are to this. Like, we're pushing the colors away and we're just left with greens. And we're like, maybe I'm not a green. Like, how can I get a green? And then there's not enough people to date. Maybe it's a silly analogy, but...
Now there's too few. Oh, and we're back to the 2 game. That's 2-0. Yep. All right. We've had other videos where we talked about self-expression versus attraction, and my geeking out and doing the math as a white, somewhat conventionally good-looking, people tell me, extroverted, geeky guy who was highly insecure and uber self-aware of that insecurity. My advice, even though I'm prefacing that people tend to think I look handsome, and your mileage may vary, and your opinion may vary, I think what I would do, my advice, is do the things that make you happy, because you being yourself and being happier, which means you need the emotional tools to work through all the shame and unhappiness that will often continue coming back for you. once you get the hang of that those waves of shame or waves of I don't deserve this are just normal, because I still go through them, and you have the tools to continue feeling that stuff as you move forward and be yourself. Mm-hmm. You being yourself is what I think the best use of your time and energy, because you get to go be the you that's making you happy. And then when you're happy and you're doing the things that make you happy, you tend to run into people who also enjoy doing those things, mm-hmm. who enjoy that you're so happy. Yeah. Doesn't mean, while this is simple advice, it does not mean it's easy, but life often isn't easy. And as much as we all feel like, the world owes us something, I think that that's probably us wrestling with some unfinished, younger kid stuff for ourselves, maybe some parental things. So I also recommend, go find a good therapist and a professional listener to do some talking to, because your friends and your family probably aren't super adept at the fact that culture's having its way with them.
Most people are like fish in a fishbowl. You don't know you're in water because it's always there.
Mm-hmm. But the view's pretty. So if you want to stay in your fishbowl, it's totally cool. Totally cool. Don't jump out of the fishbowl. And if there's this huge paw coming in, trying to bat you, watch out, stay away from the paw. And subscribe.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to subscribe to my social media, it's right there. And please subscribe to this channel there. If you'd like to see more goofy Reid and Cathy, there's more videos there.
I didn't see them. Why are they there?